Alright, so I want to try something just a little bit new. Because during my big videos, I realized how long it takes to actually do it, and I've honestly been a little overdue because of them. So I'm gonna just try to do these little smaller videos just to pass the time while I'm doing my usual big videos. And here I'll be talking about games that I've already played, or games that I can't record because, well, I don't have the said system or whatever to do it. I could always use the PC versions if I could, or emulate, but I don't like emulating. And two, I need to get said game first. So to round off everything, I'm going to go with the very game I recommended at the ending of my last video. This is Digimon Story Cybersleuth, the Complete Edition. Complete Edition because this is basically two games in one. Right here is the real Cybersleuth, while this one is Hacker's Memories. I'm going to talk about this one first. So, why this one? Well, there's a reason why I say that this is probably the best of the Digimon games for someone new to start off with. Why? Because this is basically Persona with a Digimon skin on top. Now, I haven't played Persona at all, and honestly, I have no reasoning or wanting to play it. But whenever I got a hand of this game, this was when I was getting back into the Digimon franchise, and it just kind of piqued my interest. And I got my hands on it and played it on Steam. Yeah, so here's the thing. I played and beat the game already, but on Steam. Then, last year when I went to Georgia with friends, I found this game for $60. So I was like, you know what? I really like this game. I'ma get it. And then the following week, I went with my younger brother to go retro video game shopping like we always do when he visits. And found this game for $30. Yeah, not my best investment. But enough of the origin story of this copy. How about the game itself? Well, this game is phenomenal, honestly. Its story is probably one of the best, if not the best, Digimon has ever told. Essentially, the story for technically both of these is during the events that led to what happens in Cybersleuth and technically Hacker's Memory, there would be these rampaging programs named Eaters. And they have been eating the programs of people who go dive into the net, because you can actually dive into the net, kind of like how Sword Art Online they do. But in this case, people who got, well, eaten by, say, eaters would get stuck in a permanent coma state. However, the playable character gets eaten halfway in, so now he's stuck as this, like, living digital life form of himself. So it is up to you, along with this private detective that hires you, to not only solve some cases that you're hired to do so, but figure out the whole case of the Eaters. That leads to this whole thing to where the whole digital world comes crashing down on Earth. And it gets wild from there. One of the great things about this game is not only is this how great the story is, but this game is very character driven. You learn about pretty much every main character that you talk with throughout the whole thing. And you also become attached or honestly curious of said characters throughout the way. Even to the point to where, at least in the card game, these two right here actually get printed as their own cards. And through the events of the story, I can see why. These two are probably some of the fan favorites in general. There are some characters that haven't shown up in the card game, and I really hope that we get like a whole Cybersleuth set to fix that, because they deserve it. This game deserves a lot. If anything, this game should be shown way more often, and not just as a Digimon game, but just as a really good game in general. And if you're worried about anything like the whole battle system or raising a Digimon, this is definitely the easiest one to like get into. Battle system wise, it's more like a traditional RPG, albeit I think it's more similar to like Persona, how that works. Kind of like how it's already so story based, along with a very jazzy music. There's a lot of things that I've heard that this takes a lot of inspiration from Persona. I might like Persona, I'm just not going to try it. I don't like the whole grinding thing. Not that, ignoring the fact that I actually have grinding in this game. Ignore that. Anyways, how I'll explain the gameplay of at least the battle mechanics. You will basically fight in this traditional turn-based system. However, I would say your stats are more important during the battle, as there's this whole like sidebar thing that if your Digimon are faster or your opponents are Digimon faster, there is a possibility they can have multiple turns at once, rather than just be flip-flop back and forth like how it usually is. You know, like in Pokemon, You attack, then it's your opponent's turn, they do a thing, and then your turn, you do a thing. Nah, you can literally have your entire turn skip, and you can be wiped out before you get to even do a damn thing. Like, what the fuck? As for the gameplay outside of it, well, you don't have to do this whole raising a Digimon like in the Digimon World game. That's fine and all, but sometimes it can be a very big drag. However, it doesn't do it in this case. You can walk around no problem. You don't have to like have this whole time thing going on. You can just level up your Digimon as they go, and when they're ready to Digivolve, you can Digivolve them depending on the requirements you need in terms of stats. And there's nothing like a battle requirements, feeding, or whatever. Nah, that's all out. This is one of the most simple Digimon games ever. And that's on both games, exactly. There is this like little island thing where you can send Digimon to like train, and then you can use that to increase specific stats. Like, say you need your Greymon to be in a specific stat so it can go to the next level. Well, you can go put him in like a little treadmill area thing, or put a different gym equipment so he'll focus on that gym equipment and increase that particular stat. You can even stack the entire thing as like nothing but that specific gym equipment and feed them food that actually increases stats. Particularly, like, holy hell, this is one of the easiest games in terms of Digimon leveling up, because the others are hectic as hell. But that's enough of, well, the Cybersleuth happened. Hacker's Memory, basically gameplay-wise, it all goes the same. Story-wise, I think it's just as good, if not better. As you have a smaller cast in this one, there are some members here that are missing in the front, but in here, there's a much smaller cast, as well as the story is a bit more interesting, as the events that happens at Hacker's Memory happens the exact same time as Cybersleuth. And it's not like it because it's a prequel or a sequel. Nah, these two happen at the exact same time. There are times where you might have a glimpse of your character, or you'll see the consequences that you have done in Cybersleuth that you now have to fix in Hacker's Memory. Honestly, that's kind of cool. And I kind of wish more games do this. I'm not going to go too much into their story, as because how story-driven these are, I think it will just be a waste if I explain the entire damn thing. So I'll just give you a brief synopsis of at least the two. I already mentioned this one. So, Hacker's Memory. Basically, your main character, who you don't get to have a choice between a male and female, his entire identity gets stolen online. And in order to get justice for that, because no one can help him, he decides to be a hacker and join a whole team, which is, pardon, I forgot their names, and I think it's Team Zaxxon or something. I might be wrong. No, it's Hootie. My bad. Team Hootie. You joined them, along with doing some other hacker jobs in order to, like, help your community or whatever. You are trying to find your culprit who stole your identity. Along with that, you get stuck with the whole mess that's happening from Cybersleuth, where I said the whole digital world falls upon Earth because of the whole thing going on in here. So it's very important to actually play this game first, then Hacker's Memory, because you're going to miss a lot of things going on if you don't play Cybersleuth before Hacker's Memory. Overall, this is a phenomenal game. The battle system may annoy me, but I have no complaints over this, and this is why I said in my video, and now, this is probably the best Digimon game for anybody to pick up, especially if you want to join in on the franchise. This will get you hooked up, and will even show you some Digimon from past and maybe current. There are some Digimon that are missing from here, as this... I started playing this game whenever the Adventure reboot happened, so I know there's some Digimon missing here that aren't in here, like Neo Devimon. Expect a lot of newer Digimon to not be in here, but you can expect a lot of really cool Digimon that haven't been able to feature in the game, or have very minimal time to be here, as this has the largest selection of the game. The cool thing about it, if you beat one game over the other first, it doesn't matter which one, there will be a whole thing where you can actually transfer your Digimon between files. You have to beat both games, unfortunately, but it's an option that can happen, so that's really cool. I think I'm going to do a whole dumb ranking system. So this game, if I'm going to rate this as a one singular game, I'll be honest, I give 5 out of 5 Agumons. But if I want to rate it separately, what am I kidding? They both get 5 out of 5 Agumons. What's the point of me trying to say it? This is just a good game. If you want to get into this franchise, here you go. After that, I say go whatever, because mostly you want to play the Digimon World games other than that, but there's no point. I'm not going to try to dictate your life how to play. Play whatever you like. I just want to recommend which games are good and safe for, well, people outside this franchise, because this game can get very wacky, like how a lot of the Digimon that's maybe an animal can just turn into women. Yeah, that's a thing.